when you just experience stuff, and that's, again, just get out there and experience whatever it is in life. That's when all these cliches start to make sense. We can hear things that people say and read things that people say, and you get it. You understand what it says. I know the language and all that stuff. I get it, just like a love song. I love this song. Great melody. I love the lyrics. But when you experience it, that's when it makes sense. That's when it goes to your soul. And like you and I said earlier, it becomes soul memory. And then you're like, this is what it's about.
I don't think you guys have this obstacle anymore. At least I haven't seen it for a few years, but it was called Walk the Plank.
Yep.
Where you had to climb up, which I would guess give or take 15 to 20 feet ladder. And then you're on top of a platform and you just jump into the water. That's it. Like there's no, it's not like a bunch of monkey bars. There's not any kind of craziness. You just walk up to the top, you walk on the plank, and boom, you jump into the water. And I was frozen because I've never had a good relationship with water, never been a great swimmer. And my sister told me this is one of the obstacles, knowing that I've never enjoyed swimming and it's not my thing at all. And I'm like, but I'm going to do it. I know that I have all of these people around me. And I know that if something happens, not only is there lifeguards, but my sister's going to be there, are other people around. But it wasn't just the fear of that. The other fear that I discovered that I've since overcome and it's not even existed anymore, but it's this fear of, but what am I going to look like around all these other people if I'm afraid and vulnerable? I'm going to look stupid or I'm going to look weak. And that was one of the things that shocked me about the Tough Mudder is it was the polar opposite. As soon as somebody shows vulnerability, it's just like a swarm of locusts. Everybody's there to help you and encourage you and get you through it. And that has now become my absolute favorite part of the races. It's not doing the race. The reason that Wes and I did our race a few weeks ago when you handed me the microphone wasn't really for us. We asked ourselves, we're like, why do we want to go? It's like, let's find a bunch of newcomers that have never done it before that just have terror on their face, and let's walk them through the obstacles step by step. Like just little things that for us, we breeze through. Let's find somebody that's really terrified of this and just show them you can get through it. And you see that aha moment on their face. It's just like a drug. It's like the best drug ever. But for me, it was really number one, I can jump off this plank. And I did it and scared the crap out of me. And now when I do similar things, I just climb up the ladder, boop, I jump in, and that fear is all but eliminated because I convinced myself I could do it. But it's so much more this idea of I feel so much safer being vulnerable in front of people with my weaknesses, knowing that if I'm surrounded by the right people, they're going to encourage me. And if I'm vulnerable around the wrong people, well, then it's very obvious who are no longer my people and don't need to be in my life. Yeah. And that's a huge discovery that I got from these experiences. It's that feeling of we're all here to get each other through the race together. And it kind of brings me to the next topic of conversation, kind of two different topics of conversation. But one of the hesitations that I hear a lot from newbies that want to run a race when I try to put together a group of people in my community or friends and say, hey, let's all go run a race. Two objections. One of which is, but I'm just going to slow you down. I'm going to be the last one. You go run your race and I don't want to slow you down. But then the other one that I really want you to speak to is, well, I need to get in shape first. Then I'm going to sign up. So let's talk about these two hesitations and how people overcome them. Because anybody listening, if you are at least local or want to be around me in Los Angeles, whenever there's a race in Southern California, Tough Mudder, Spartan, or otherwise, you let me know. We will get you through from the starting line to the finish line. But these are always the biggest objections. I'll slow you down, and I got to get in shape first. Then I'll call you in a year, which becomes never. So let's talk about these objections and how people overcome them.
One thing I say to people, and this is part jokingly, is I said, look, just come there. Come there. If you volunteer, that's a great way to discover it. That's an excellent way to discover it. If you come there to support somebody that's running it, that's a great way to discover it. Or if it's just nearby enough that you're curious, just come and check it out. Just look and see what's going on. And I guarantee you'll see someone out on that course that you will look at and you'll be like, well, if that person can do it, I can do it. Yeah. Now, my joke on that one that I say to the mudders in the circle, I'm like, and if you're out there and you don't see that person, you're that person. And the cool thing about that is you're inspiring others, whether you know it or not, because you're out there doing it. So that's one. And then I tell the story of one of the first teams I ever met at Tough Mudder was a Navy SEAL team. And these guys, they showed up, Navy SEALs, man. They showed up with their rucks, the backpacks, full of beer and bacon and wine. They walked the whole course. They did this obstacle. They didn't do that obstacle. They spent most of their time out there helping people. I saw them like 8-9 hours later coming into the finish line, all muddy and drunk and laughing. And that's how they crossed the finish line. That's what Tough Mudder is. It is you go there to find you and then to discover your better you. But we ain't out there saying, we're not a drill sergeant saying you gotta do something. And we're out there saying, try it, or find that inspiration out there to get you to try it, to do it. Do you need to train and sure, it'll help, just like through life. If you go to school, that's going to help you in our society. If you have a family and you exercise loving people, that's going to help you in life. So training for a Tough Mudder is the same thing, and for people like me, us older guys, more importantly, training is just recovery. Now it's preventive maintenance and recovery. But no, you don't have to be the fastest out there. You don't have to be able to do every obstacle out there. That's not going to be the gym that you discover out there. It's going to be, even if you walk, I would say, even if you went out there and you just shadowed a team where you didn't do any of the obstacles, but you went through all of the whole course walking it with them, you're going to get the benefits of being out there. You're going to feel it. What you were talking about earlier. When you just experience stuff, and that's, again, just get out there and experience whatever it is in life, that's when all these cliches start to make sense. We can hear things that people say and read things that people say, and you get it. You understand what it says. I know the language and all that stuff. I get it, just like a love song. I love this song. Great melody. I love the lyrics. But when you experience it, that's when it makes sense. That's when it goes to your soul. And like you and I said earlier, it becomes soul memory. And then you're like, this is what it's about. Yeah, I didn't have to go and train like crazy just to do this. Certainly there's benefits to me that if I went that way, that it worked. But you go to these Tough Mudders, again, you see church folks out there that came with their other church people. You see colleges out there with kids, and it ain't their athletes because they ain't going to risk them out there, with some little injury and messing up their season. But just the college kids that come there with their friends. You see everyday people in all shapes and sizes. We have a gentleman that I got to interview on a podcast, an autistic gentleman. He's who runs these ultra marathons and stuff. You see people like him out there. You see every types of people out there, man. So don't let that be the thing that stops you. To me, this gets back to what you were saying earlier. What I love what you said, that voice in our heads that say, no, 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 beware, beware. That what I feel is just code in us to be safe in this world. Survival, one of those survival codes that, again, through evolution of free will, we learn how to exercise that more properly, and don't let that keep you from living. Again, another quote that I came up with through this experience is the body just wants to survive. The soul wants to live. So live, y'all.